Welcome back, guys, to another video, and today we are talking about Jordan Love and him really kind of coming into his own at this point in the season, and he honestly could not be doing it at a better time at all. And we're going to talk about all that kind of stuff, and to just jump right into, I'm going to have his stats, like his total stats basically right here. We're going to get into like some passing charts here in a moment, but as of right now, Jordan Love has 2,866 passing yards, 22 touchdowns to 10 interceptions on the season, and the Packers just knocked off the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football last night. In last night's game, he threw for 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, and no interceptions against a pretty good Chiefs defense as well, where they won 27-19. And the week before that was the Lions, another really good team that they did win, where he threw for 268 yards and 3 touchdowns to no interceptions. So you can't say he's not consistent, because that's 268 passing yards followed up by 267 passing yards. So almost the exact same amount against, again, two of the best teams in the NFL. And again, you guys can kind of pause the video if you'd like to and kind of look over all of his stats basically. I'm just going to kind of stop it right there before moving on to another thing I wanted to talk about. And going back to that Chiefs game last night, I want to go to his passing charts. Now this right here is Jordan Love's passing chart from last night's game. And as you can see, I mean, he's throwing the ball all over the field, not afraid to check it down as well, and didn't turn the ball over a single time. His furthest completion came over 30 yards, and I believe that was the 4th and 1 play where they just, threw it deep, 2 defenders there, and it was still caught. And it was honestly probably one of the biggest plays in that game because it eventually led to the Packers scoring. And after that point, they had a nice kind of cushion against the Chiefs, and they just weren't able to kind of get back into the game, and they eventually won. But other than that, he had a 4-yard touchdown pass. He had a touchdown pass that looks like it's just about 15 yards, and then a 20-yard touchdown pass as well. And the 20-yard pass, I'm pretty sure was to Jordan Love, was to Christian Watson, but I could be wrong there. But again, a really, really great game from Jordan Love, again, against a very good defense. And to me, looking at this, it just shows he's not afraid to push the ball deep, but he's also not afraid to check the ball down. And that's just something that's like really big for Jordan Love, because he kind of struggled with that earlier this year when it came to kind of pushing the ball further down the field. And then when he did, it always wasn't the best decision. And we're going to look at that right here. This is back, I think, week 7. Now, I believe this game is week 7 against the Broncos, a game the Packers did lose. And looking at this, I chose this game because this is a few weeks ago, and it just kind of shows Jordan Love's development. Because again, I think it was too early to jump the gun and say he wasn't going to be good, because again, this is his first full year starting. Even though he isn't a rookie, it is his first full year playing on a team that is, like, I think the second youngest in the entire NFL. And it's really hard to win those late game situations and close games when you don't have a lot of experience. And the Packers have proven to actually been able to do that after stacking up a few wins. In this game, again, it was the Broncos, and the difference here is that the ball isn't really being pushed farther down the field. There's only 2 completed passes over 15 yards, and the one deep 40-plus yarder was intercepted. And again, he does have the 120-yard touchdown pass. But again, other than that, everything was very kind of checked down and not spread around the field very well. So I just want to have that up there. You guys can kind of pause it and go back to the Chiefs passing chart if you want, and just kind of compare the two, because it's really night and day when you look at it, because it just shows his kind of growth in distributing the ball to different receivers. And again, very young receivers at that as well. And it's also a young quarterback doing it. It's honestly really cool when at this point in the season, you can kind of see this team kind of coming into their own. And I do want to talk about the postseason implications, because again, the Packers, while they haven't been great this year, they are kind of starting to hit a stride at the perfect time. So this is the Packers schedule, and I think the biggest thing for me is that, streak of 4 losses in a row, and the win against the Rams, another loss, and then that last 3 games. I mean, 2 of those 3 games are against very good teams. The Chargers are somehow not a very good team, but the Lions and the Chiefs in a row. And also, in those 3 games, Jordan Love has not turned the ball over. I believe it's 8 total touchdowns to no interceptions in 3 games, which is just, very, very good. And so upcoming opponents. So we have the Giants, we have the Buccaneers, we have the Panthers, the Vikings, and the Bears. Look, again, in my opinion, looking at this, I don't see why the Packers wouldn't make the playoffs, assuming they stay on the streak that they've already kind of started for themselves, because these upcoming opponents, I mean, who's going to beat them, to be honest? I mean, they lost by 14 to the Vikings. Okay, maybe they lose that one again. But other than that, the Panthers, as a Panthers fan, are horrible. They will not beat the Packers. The Giants, I really can't see them beating the Packers. They already stomped the Bears by 18 points. And again, sometimes those divisional games can get a little tricky. Sometimes you can kind of split with a team that you probably should have swept, so you never know there. But again, the Buccaneers, like, I don't see the Buccaneers beating the Packers. And this is why I said I think the Packers have hit a stride at the perfect time, because looking at their upcoming opponents, there's really not anyone that really jumps off the page to me. I think the Vikings will be a very big game at that point in the year, assuming they beat the Giants and the Buccaneers and the Panthers. Then that Vikings game will be kind of make or break for a 4-game win streak, going on a 5-game win streak. And then also at that point, there should be some serious playoff implications as well. So that will be a very, very good game on December 31st. So just kind of going over this step by step, I'm going to say that they beat the Giants and they're 7-6. They beat the Buccaneers, they're 8-6. They beat the Panthers, they're 9-6. I'm going to have them losing to the Vikings again, make it 9-7, but beating the Bears and going 10-7. Now, in the AFC, you're going to need a lot of things to happen to where you'll make the playoffs at 10-7, because so many teams are just so good, and that's just really all there is to it. So many teams are so good, and there's only a certain number of seeds where there's going to be some very good teams that just won't make the playoffs. The NFC, on the other hand, 10-7, you can definitely get a wild card spot, especially, again, looking at the Packers' schedule, assuming they get to that point, I don't see why they wouldn't make the playoffs at 10-7. There's always a chance, like the division opens up for them. Personally, I don't see that happening unless the Lions have like a generational collapse, which again, I really hope does not happen, because the Lions have had a great year. So again, you're kind of hoping for a wild card spot at that point, and you'll have to probably beat out some good teams to be there. I'm going to have a picture on the screen of like what the what the playoff picture looks like as of right now, because I really do feel like the Packers can get a wild card spot, and at that point, they'll play a very tough team. But again, they just beat the Chiefs, and there's not a lot of teams in the NFL that's much better than the Chiefs, so maybe the Packers going to run, maybe they upset, I don't know. But the point of this video, at least for me trying to make it, was that Jordan Love is really catching on fire. I would say he has kind of officially arrived, assuming he can continue this pace, because 22 touchdowns, a year where it's your first full year starting, you are in a fairly competitive division. And again, you're the second youngest team in the NFL. That's not a lot of experience in these postseason situations, or these late season situations, eventually postseason, late game situations. Like, you don't have that experience there. You don't have the veterans there. You don't have Randall Cobb there anymore at receiver to kind of help the other guys. Aaron Rodgers is not there to kind of, again, coach Jordan Love through those things. So at this point, you kind of have to rely on what Aaron Rodgers taught Jordan Love at one point, if you're Jordan Love. And kind of rely on those things that you've kind of picked up along the way. And so far, it seems like at this point in the season, Jordan Love's getting some serious confidence. And it's just, again, and it's producing on paper and just during games as well. Now, talking worst case scenario, for me, is you lose to the Giants and you lose to the Panthers. To me, those are the two freest games on the schedule as of right now. You really need to beat the Bears as well. But if you can beat the Giants, you can beat the Panthers. I think you get the easiest ones out of the way. I don't think the Buccaneers are too much of a challenge, but again, the Panthers and Giants are just so bad. They're literally the bottom two teams in the NFL, in my opinion. So those are must-win games for the Packers. And at this rate, I think they handled them, honestly, with ease. But yeah, so guys, that's going to do for the video. Nothing, crazy, like some super long video or anything. If you guys want to see longer standalone videos on players, let me know down below. I've tried to keep them fairly short when I do them like this. But again, hopefully you guys get something out of this. Go back, look at the passing charts, look at yourselves, go on the website yourself, go through all of his games and just see the progression, because it's there. It definitely shows. Jordan Love's getting confident, he's getting much better, and I do think the Packers have found their franchise quarterback. So hopefully they finish the season strong, they get a playoff spot, and maybe makes noise in the playoffs as the second youngest team in the NFL. But that's going to do it for the video, so thank you guys for watching. I do really appreciate it. Make sure to subscribe to my channel for more NFL videos just like this. I do weekly picks, power rankings, player videos like this, all that kind of stuff, and then also do Madden videos where we have gameplays, pack openings, no money spent series, and videos like that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.